what's the best smartphone you can buy right now? I'm Tom Honeyhands, and this is our phone expert, Max Parker.
Hello.
And we've got 13 of the latest and greatest, the best smartphones that you can buy right now on the table in front of us. Max, have you got a favorite right off the bat?
We've got a lot of phones here, but there's a few standouts. You know, the Google Pixel's really good, the Samsung Galaxy S7's really good, the iPhone 7, probably not the best iPhone, but you know, it's still here, it's still a good phone.
Well, let's get straight into it with our first category, which is design. So Max, give me your top 3 phones which you think really stand out in terms of style and design.
Yeah, I don't think it's been a great year for phone design. I think a lot of them still look sort of very samey, but there are a few that stand out. I think the Huawei Mate 9. Mate 9 is really nice.
This is a big phone though.
It's a big phone, but it's not as big as it probably should be with the screen the size it's got.
Okay. What else?
The OnePlus 3T.
Okay.
I think is, again, you know, you've got a bigger screen, but it feels really small. It's light, curved back, really nice. And you know, the Samsung Galaxy S7, which has sort of been sticking around all year, and it's got lovely metal, lovely glass, and it feels really good. It's just the right size. I think it's the best size.
Bit of a fingerprint magnet.
It's a fingerprint magnet, yeah, but you know, you can't have everything, can you?
So you'd say the S7 is probably the best in terms of design?
Yeah, I think the S7 just sort of edges out the others. But as I said before, I don't think it's been a classic year of phone design.
More of like an evolutionary year.
Yeah, I think the Note 7 probably would have been in, you'll find out in a lot of categories, the Note 7 probably would have won.
It's such a shame we haven't got the
them.
Note 7 with us for certain health and safety reasons. We had to leave it absent.
But yeah, I think the S7 is the nicest looking phone you can probably buy right now.
Okay, S7 wins. Moving swiftly on from the design to the displays and screen quality and things like that, which do you think really stand out for you?
I mean, we've got some differing displays here. We go from sort of the iPhone SE at 4 inches to the Mate 9 at 5.9 inches.
Phones really do come in all
so you can get
shapes and sizes.
But the majority of these are sort of between 4.7 to 5.5, and that seems to be the sweet spot.
So let's talk about resolution and things, because this is something that, you know, a lot of people like to read it on the spec sheets, but does it really make a difference between 720 and 1080 in Quad HD?
I think resolution is overplayed, and I think the winner that we choose shows that it's not all about resolution.
I completely agree with you. I mean, the Mate 9, which I've been using quite a lot recently,
yeah, I think
it's got a 1080p screen
it's fantastic.
on a 5.9-inch screen. A lot of people will be put off by that.
But it's really good.
It's really
crisp.
So let's talk about the panels and like the different LCD and AMOLED stuff. Yeah. What really stands out for you there?
So I think I really like AMOLED screens. I think they're sort of more punchy, more vibrant.
And that's what you get on the S7?
Yeah, so the S7 and the Pixel. They both have AMOLED displays. Both these are Quad HD, so these are both really, really nice displays. Very similar, very warm, very bright, very crisp. But I think the winner doesn't use an AMOLED display. It doesn't have a Quad HD.
Before you give us that,
either.
Give me your top 3.
So top 3, let's go with S7, Pixel, and the iPhone 7 Plus, which I think is the best phone screen.
Really?
Probably comfortably the best phone screen.
Why do you think that? I
think that it's only 1080p over 5.5 inches, but the P3 color gamut that Apple uses, it's a really wide color gamut, so you get just loads of colors and everything's so bright.
And that's something that's new on this 7.
Yeah, so Apple have used it on the new MacBook Pros, the 5K iMac, the iPad Pro, and it just sort of gives you so many more colors, makes everything just... And you really do notice it when you look at them side by side.
I mean, the blacks here just melt into the bezels.
I mean, yeah,
it is incredible.
The colours are... It's not as high resolution, but I don't think you really notice that when the colours are so nice. And to me, I rather take nice colours over sharpness.
Yeah, I agree. So you're going with the iPhone 7
yeah, the
Plus?
iPhone 7.
Fantastic. But all those things count for nothing if it's slow, if the performance isn't there.
I mean, you don't want a slow phone, that's probably the worst thing, I think.
If something starts lagging and it's unresponsive, it just becomes unusable. So these are all really super fast, they're all flagships.
I mean, any of these phones, you're not going to have a sort of basic speed problem.
So give me your top 3 in terms of speed and performance.
So I think in third place, I'm probably going to wimp out and give this a tie to the OnePlus 3T and the Huawei Mate 9.
Right, okay, why is that?
So the OnePlus 3T, 6GB of RAM, I don't think that's overly important, but the Snapdragon 821 is a really, really good chip. Not that much different from the 820, but just a little bit more optimized. And the Kirin 960 in the Mate 9 I think it's easily Huawei's best chip yet.
Okay, so we've got a tied third place, but give me your number 1 and your number 2.
I think number 1 and 2 are very close, and a lot of this depends on what you want from a phone. I think easily it's the iPhone 7 and the Pixel.
Okay.
iPhones have always been fast. But the biggest surprise, I think, was how well Android runs on the Pixel.
It's so responsive. I've never used a phone as fast an Android phone that is as fast as the Pixel.
I think it's sort of the first Android phone that can be compared to the iPhone in terms of speed. I know people will say, you know, it's not got the same amount of RAMs and it's not got the same amount of processor cores and
RAMs
and processor floppy
but you're right.
DOPs. And
but it's because Google has made the hardware and the software like Apple does with the iPhone.
It really shows. And I think that's why it was a good idea to ditch the Nexus line and to build it themselves. And the 821 and 4 gig of RAM is so fast in that Pixel phone. It's a pleasure to use, and you know I haven't been able to say that about another Android phone. The S7's fast, but the Pixel is noticeably faster. And I think that's why the Pixel wins this round.
So in terms of software, we've only got Android and iOS here, haven't we?
No Windows.
No Windows, no BlackBerry.
We have a BlackBerry, but it's running Android now.
So it's really a two-horse race.
Yeah, and I think if you're considering buying a phone, you're probably buying one of those two.
But what do you think about Apple iOS 10 versus Android 7?
I think they're both really good. I think iOS 10, I really like it, but I know a lot of people don't like some of the changes. You have to click the button to unlock it. I know it really annoys people, like more than I've ever heard people get annoyed about other stuff.
First world problems? Yeah.
I think the notifications on iOS, they're not very good. And it's just, you're locked down. And I think maybe people are starting to get tired of the grid home screen.
So if someone's going to choose between an iPhone or an Android phone, I guess it's really down to what they're used to using, perhaps where their stuff is.
I know a lot of people who wouldn't switch from iOS because of iMessage, FaceTime, the apps they've downloaded. But I do think the Pixel launcher and Android 7.1.
Daydream VR.
And Daydream VR, yeah, you can use the VR headset you've got over there. I think it's the best version of Android yet, and you can just do so much more than you can on iOS.
And it's just as fast now.
And it's just as fast now, and you know, if you get past the iMessage and the FaceTime, there's just so much more you can do on the Pixel phone.
And I think that Google Assistant has a lot of potential.
And the Google Assistant is really good too, you know, it's already better than Siri. It sort of accurately gets my voice more than Siri does. It sort of spews up more interesting things than Siri does. And it's on its first version. Siri's been going for, I don't know, five years, and it's just, Siri is not that great, and I think Google Assistant isn't fantastic. I'm not going to say it's fantastic, but I think it could get to being better a lot faster than Siri.
So people probably have a strong preference either way, but if you're going to pick a winner between iOS and Android right now, which would
I would go for Android 7.1 with the Pixel launcher on the Google Pixel.
One of the most important aspects of a phone is the camera quality. It's something that people really, really care about. And actually, I'm sure you'll agree that it's the biggest differentiating factor between the phones.
Yeah, I think in a lot of the other categories, you know, they've sort of all got together, and like batteries, they're all really good, you know, screens are really good, but camera, the best ones are so far ahead of the sort of not quite as good ones. They're all quite good.
So which three stand out for you?
So I think comfortably we've got the S7.
Okay.
Just here. We've got Google's Pixel.
The S7, the Pixel, and
iPhone, which has always had a really good camera.
This is going to be a pretty close race, isn't it?
I think it's very close. I think that the S7 was really, really good. I think these two probably just beat it out. So I think that the iPhone 7 Plus, of course, has the dual lens, so you can do some sort of fancy bokeh effects. It's
gimmicky.
It's a bit gimmicky. It doesn't work that well.
Well, I think before we come to a proper conclusion, we should go outside and go and test these a little bit more. What do you think?
Let's do that.
So we went out and shot a few pictures with the three phones to find out how they compare. And right off the bat in this daylight scene, you can see that the Pixel in the middle has much better dynamic range. You can see that because in the clouds there's a lot more detail, whereas on the Galaxy S7 on the left it's quite blown out. There's lots of really bright highlights you're lacking in detail. The iPhone 7 is pretty good and almost as good as the Pixel here, so they all produce terrific photos in good light, but the Pixel just comes out on top. Looking at the picture with the books, what stands out is the iPhone 7 with its slightly brighter but also warmer color temperature. If you look at the book on the bottom right where the title's Harmony, you can see that the text is much brighter and also a little bit clearer on the iPhone 7, suggesting that it's actually a little bit better in low light. Here we have a picture of some 3D printed things, but it's in a dark area with quite poor lighting. And this is again where the Pixel and the iPhone really stands out. The S7 on the left looks the worst of the three, with washed out colors and a bit of a blurry look. The Pixel on the other hand has really vibrant colors, and the black at the back is much deeper and inkier than both the S7 or the iPhone 7. So I think the Pixels come out on top here in this low light test. In the inevitable selfie picture comparison, while I don't look particularly happy, you can see quite a striking difference in the images. First of all, the iPhone 7 has a much narrower field of view. You don't get nearly as much in the frame as you do with the S7 and Pixel. So if you're doing a selfie with a bunch of your mates, you're going to struggle to get everyone in on the iPhone 7. In terms of quality, they're all pretty good, but the S7 seems to stand out with the brightest and most pleasing to look at image. And finally, moving on to video, these are all shot at Ultra HD 4K. What's most noticeable is the S7 on the left is a lot brighter, but not necessarily better looking. The Pixel and the iPhone look more pleasing to the eye, and there's more contrast in the images between the light and the dark areas. What is obvious though when I'm moving is the Pixel is much smoother, and that's thanks to its electronic image stabilization, whereas the Galaxy S7 and iPhone 7 have the more common optical image stabilization. All three offer great 4K video, but once again, I think the Pixel just comes out on top with great dynamic range, good detail, and very, very smooth motion. So talk me through what are the best battery lives in these phones.
The iPhone SE has a fantastic battery life. It's a dinky little phone, but the screen has less pixels to push around. The processor isn't quite as power hungry as some of the other ones. So yeah, I think the SE is one of the top 3 best ones.
You get a good day and a half out of that, surprisingly.
Yeah, I think out of all these top 3 ones, you can easily get through a day. You can get through 2 days, you know, if you sip it, if you use power saving modes. Sure. But most people will probably get a day and a half, I think, out of these top 3 phones.
So third place, iPhone SE?
Yeah, I think the SE probably third place. Second place, I think another iPhone. iPhones have, you know, the Plus models have always been really good with battery life.
Well, bigger size, bigger
battery. So the Plus gets second place. And might be a little bit of a surprise, maybe.
Go on.
The Huawei is gonna win.
The Mate 9.
Battery, the Mate 9. The 4,000 milliamp hour battery in that is the most consistent I've used this year. It's most times out of I used it, I would get 2 days, I think. I would say. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, that's about what I've got. And if you put power saving mode on, if you ration it a bit, maybe a bit more.
The thing with Huawei, the power saving modes are so much more comprehensive than the sort of low power mode on iPhones.
So we both agree the Mate 9 has the best stamina, but as well as that, it also supports quick charging through the USB-C port. Yeah. Something that the iPhones still don't do.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know why Apple doesn't implement some sort of quick charging. It's really annoying. Like, if you've not used quick charging, you probably won't sort of know its benefits, but if you've used it, and so the Mate 9 charged fully in about just over an hour.
It's so useful. If you're just going to go out for the evening and you're running a bit low, but you've got 20 minutes to charge it up, you could get a full day out of it.
And you can count up the percentage as the minutes go by. With the iPhone, you know, it's 2.5 hours for it to fully charge.
So it lasts longer and it charges quicker. It's a definite win for the Mate 9. So let's talk about value for money, because that's going to be really important to a lot of people when budgets are involved and bang for buck. So for you, what stands out here as good value? The best sort of overall affordable phone is the OnePlus 3T. Okay. You get a lot for your money. 64 gig of storage as well, which most of the others don't have. So, you know, I think that is the best overall value. I think if you want to spend less, sort of between 100 and 200, Motorola have always been sort of kings in that area. The G4 and the G4 Plus are both really, really good phones. They're a little big, which is my main issue with them. But take away the size, you got sort of 1080p screens, you've got 30 megapixel cameras, you've got all-day battery life, and you know, they look quite nice. But for you, the OnePlus 3T stands? Yeah, I think overall, you know, if you don't want to spend flagship price, the OnePlus 3T is just all those things, but in a much cheaper price tag. So we've been through all the categories. We've got a ton of terrific phones here, but Max, we're going to need a winner. What's the best phone that I can buy right now? So let's do as we've done for all of them, let's do a top 3. Make it more exciting. The 1 and 2 are very tight. But in third place, I think the iPhone 7 Plus. You know, it's not been a vintage year for the iPhone, but it's still, if you want a big phone, it's still a very, very good phone. It's the best iPhone you can buy. It's the best iPhone you can buy now, and you know, it's got good battery life. The top 2, I think you could probably guess if you've seen sort of what's cropped up in every category, but the Pixel and the S7 are my 2 favourite phones of the year. So the S7 won our Best Phone of the Year award at the TrustedReviews Awards. It won the best phone when we did this roundup earlier in the year. I just think for most people, it's the phone you should buy, and you know, it's a bit cheaper than the Pixel. You know, go out and buy an S7. It's the best that you can buy right now. I agree. So that's what we think, but what do you think at home? Do you agree with us, or would you have picked one of the other phones? Let us know in the comments below. And for more of the latest news and reviews on these phones, stay tuned to TrustedReviews.com.